Welcome to Real Girl Talk. I am your host, Cherie Ricard. I empower women to stand in their purpose, to succeed despite the odds stacked against them, and to live their life knowing they're enough and worthy. Join me each week for powerful messages and interviews that will inspire you to create the life that you want. Now let's go. Hello there, my friends. It's Cherie Ricard, and I'm so glad to have you back listening to the podcast. And thank you for being here. To all my loyal listeners, I love you so much. And if you are new to Real Girl Talk, welcome to the show, because this is the show for you to join. I have a guest today that really inspired me last year to even start this podcast. So of course I would have her on the show. And I want you to welcome Cara Leyba. And she is the best-selling author, a master life coach, and creator of the Champagne Diet blog. She has over 4 million listeners that tune into her podcast, Style Your Mind. Go check it out. Every week, she comes with powerful conversations and just a mega dose of inspiration. She's truly living her best life, and she inspires women and around the world to step into their power and fulfill their potential. Welcome to the show, Cara.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here with you guys today.
I am so thrilled to have you, girl. And I just have to ask you, you're in New York. How cold is it right now?
It is chilly. I think it's like 23 or something today. Whew. And the wind chill has just been, the wind chill's been like around 17 or 18. It's pretty cold.
Okay. So do you know what that means to a Southern girl that lives in South Louisiana?
It means I'm very envious of you right now.
I'm telling you, I love to visit New York, but the thought of even living around snow that falls, 2, 3, 4 months out of the year just literally makes my toes cold right now. And I cannot stand cold feet. I wear socks all the time. I mean, seriously.
I know, I grew up here, so I'm used to it, and nothing can replace the energy of New York City. So it's one of those things where we all know what we're signing up for. The summers are brutal, the winters are brutal, but it's New York. You just feel.
I know. I love New York. It's so cool. I've probably been there like 6 or 7 times, and I want to come back. Actually, you guys have something real cool going on in March that I want to attend. So I'm trying to work it out, because I try to be everywhere and it just never works out, But I want you to talk to my listeners today, because I know you inspired me last year. I know you're going to inspire them. And she has a workbook, guys, that's called Style Your Mind. And I bought the workbook off Amazon, truly loved it, absolutely loved it. And I was already thinking about doing a journal of my own. So as you listeners know, I am creating the Create Your Life journal and devotional. And, I was inspired by several people, and Cara being one of those. But Cara, I want you just to kind of back up a little bit. I know a lot of my listeners are bloggers, so I want you to kind of talk and tell us the journey that from when you went to the Champagne Diet blog to being a best-selling author. Just kind of take us a little bit on that journey.
Yeah, so I started almost 11 years ago. Every year when I do an interview and I'm like, it was 7 years ago, it was 8 years ago, we're at almost 11 years ago now, which is insane to me. I'm considering I'm only 38 years old. So I started the blog in 2008 after going through, a really transformative time in my life that was actually inspired by a glass of champagne, literally by a glass of champagne. Wow. I was looking for, a change in my life. And I thought that change was going to come in the form of a diet. Like I think most women do. We think if we lose 10 pounds, everything's going to be perfect. And a friend of mine suggested that I incorporate champagne as my treat into my new diet that I was going on, that I thought I was going on. And I wound up really looking at champagne through a very different lens in my life. It did start to become something I incorporated into like living healthier when it comes to wanting to treat yourself. So swapping cake, for example, for a glass of champagne at a party or at a dinner. But I realized as soon as I started drinking it that there was something really magical about a glass of champagne. And I'm not talking a bottle. We've all probably put away a bottle of champagne at our time, but really, truly, one, beautiful glass of champagne. And it really, to me, represented this whole life that I was not living at the time. a life that was, focused on celebration and beauty and glamour and luxury and all these things that I so desperately wanted, but I was not getting them. I was in a bad relationship. I was in a dead end kind of job. I wasn't happy with my body. I wasn't treating myself well. So I went through this transformation, which was inspired by a glass of champagne, and I learned to really live a life of gratitude and really live a life of celebration and just change things and make changes. And I started the blog because really going through that transformation, I wanted to write a book. And everybody that I spoke to said, who's going to, this is a good idea, but who's going to read it? You need to create a platform. So that was really why I started a blog. I never wanted to be a blogger. I wanted to be an author, but I knew that I needed to create a foundation and get people, invested in my story and my message before I could publish a book. So that's why I started the blog. And I knew again in my head that I was always going to write this book. So those blog entries were really almost like mini chapters of what this was going to become my now 8 books later, but was going to become one of my books. So that was kind of how I started. It was really just inspired by my own journey.
Yes. I mean, that's awesome because, I know to transition from blogging and then saying, oh, I'm going to write a book now. I know I have so many people that ask me, which is why, we talked before the show that I'm coming out with that online course from writing a book from the beginning to launch, because I've had so many people ask me like you have, how do you do this? How do you transition from blog to a book? And I know your latest book that just came out, Like She Owns the Place. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to what you were saying about like how to write a book, I just want to add this. Like I Googled my way through the book writing process.
Me too, girl. Me too.
Yeah. Like I kind of figured it out along the way. So I don't want anyone to ever be intimidated. I think it's amazing that you're actually creating that course because people do need some kind of guidance in the process because it is a very arduous process. It's a labor of love for sure. I self-published. I wound up self-publishing my first book. It was a book called Sparkle, and it was what the original champagne diet blog was really, supposed to be. And I tried to get a traditional book deal for that book. Didn't work out. I got rejected 19 times by 19 publishers. I wound up self-publishing. And I self-published all of my books up until really Like She Owns the Place was my first traditional book deal. And that book came after a book called Girl Code that I wrote in 2015, which wound up becoming extremely successful. And I sold 50,000 copies of that book independently. And then Penguin Random House came to me because 50,000 books is a lot, even with a traditional deal.
Right.
They came to me, they republished it, and then we did Like She Owns the Place. And that book is, that's the book that I think I'm the most proud of because it's newer. So it's like I've got, 10 years of experience behind my belt in my own journey. And it's really about confidence. It's about helping women achieve sustainable confidence because we are so convinced by society that like lip injections and a $10,000, Hermes bag and, abs are going to make us feel good about ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but to really, really, truly develop confidence from the ground up that's unshakable, no matter what happens in your life, you've got to do a lot of deep work. And that's what Like She Owns the Place is about.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to read that book because, and is the book out on audio yet? Have you done the recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
So, they both came out in July of last year. So everything's out there. And
okay. So I wasn't sure that particular book was on audio because I'm on the plane a lot. So that's me. I plug in is just as soon as I sit in my seat and I turn on my audiobooks and I gain so much inspiration, not just inspiration, but knowledge of, whatever book that I'm reading. So I'm super excited. I'm going to download that. So guys, download her book if you're an audio listener, Like She Owns the Place, because I know it's going to be inspirational. I know your workbooks are absolutely fabulous. And tell me a little bit about like, what do you want a woman to actually gain from the workbook?
So the workbooks came about because I am also a certified master life coach. So during my journey of writing and helping women and sharing my story, I wanted to really further my education and really, learn how to help people in a real way, not just share things and give advice, but really learn how to coach women to create their lives, how to live their best life, not do what I'm doing, but do what's best for them. So I became a coach and I started coaching and I still do. I do private coaching, I do group coaching, but there were so many women that were reaching out to me saying, Cara, I just don't have the budget right now. I'm a single mom. I'm working 2 jobs, or I'm a college student. So I wanted to make my coaching accessible to everyone. So I started creating a series of workbooks called Style Your Mind. So Style Your Mind is a coaching workbook, which is, a life coaching guide. It's perfect for the woman who really wants to learn how to think better and live better, discover what her passions are, find out what drives her, learn how to, say no to things that are toxic for her and bring in more good in her life. And then Style Your Mind for Success is like the boss babe version of that. So that's the book for any woman who is like creating her best business and really wants to learn how to raise her vibration and attract her dream clients and, call in more abundance into her business and her life. So those books, I really created them for, the average woman to have access to. They're $14.99 and they're full workbooks. There's hundreds of questions and prompts and journal prompts and exercises. Yeah. So it's really kind of like my coaching, at an incredibly affordable rate, because again, I don't want to ever say no to somebody who wants to improve themselves. I think it's hard. Coaching can be expensive and it's a luxury for a lot of people. So the workbooks are a way for people to do it on their own time, on their own budget, and, just have access to all that incredible life-changing information.
Yeah, I love it because you have a lot of inspirational quotes in those workbooks and then they guide you into the next section. And then there's places for you to write, which that's what I'm doing with my journal. Although my journal is more of a devotional journal. So it's going to have a scripture every day for 30 days. And then it kind of guides you into what you're doing actually in the world today that's relatable to that scripture. And then there's going to be a point where you can write what's going on with you and just kind of guide you through 30 days of inspiration, which is basically what you and I are all about, is inspiring women to live their best life and to be able to share their talents and gifts with the world. Because I think so many women today think, well, I don't really have anything to write about, or I don't really have any talents. And then you'll talk to them for 10 minutes and you find out they're like a certified scuba diver or something that has access to traveling the world. And you're thinking, what do you mean you don't have anything to say? Of course.
I know. It's how crazy is it that we discredit ourselves so much? We're taught this though, right? Like society teaches us, like, don't brag, don't be too cocky, always stay humble. And I agree with staying humble, but there's also nothing wrong with celebrating who you are and celebrating your talents. And I think we really need to undo that programming that we have been convinced through the years that it's wrong to, talk about ourselves in a positive way. There's everything right about doing that.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. And I know that you truly have really taken, I will say, I guess this is a Southern term, taken the bull by its horns. I don't know if that is or not, but I think you really have, because I know now that you have gone on type of a weight loss lifestyle transformation, I would say, because sometimes we say weight loss journey, which journeys typically end, I guess, but a transformation is forever. And so you've taken on this lifestyle transformation of weight loss, which I started January 1st, just kind of incorporating keto. I know you have a way that's working for you, that you've lost weight, and you look fabulous, by the way. So I want you to share with everyone a little bit about what you're doing, because I know most women want to get rid of 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds. I know the author of Simply Keto, I had her on my show, lost 125 pounds. So I mean, yeah, she was 315 and lost 125 pounds and wrote a recipe book. So she's very impressive. That's amazing. But I want you to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, because you look fabulous. I know you feel good, and it's truly a transformation.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, for me, my weight has been an issue my whole life. I joined Weight Watchers when I was 11 years old. I begged my mom to let me join. I was an overweight kid. I started gaining weight around second grade when my parents got divorced. Food became security to me. It became a comfort zone. And I have tried every single diet, everything you can imagine. I've done keto. I've done Jenny Craig. I've done Weight Watchers multiple times, Atkins, South Beach. I mean, I could rattle them all off to you. I know everything about all the diets in the world. And I finally was at a point where I really was convinced that nothing was going to work. And this was very recently. This was like, probably like 2017 going into 2018. I would just consistently put back on the weight, because to me, there were two problems, right? One, nothing was sustainable. So everything that I did involved counting calories or points or taking out a food group, or you can't have carbs now, and now you can't have sugar. That wasn't sustainable long term. That was going to work short term, but that was not going to help me learn to live forever the rest of my life as a healthy person. And two, nothing was talking about mindset. And I remember like praying, literally praying to God, please let there be something that comes out that helps women tackle the mindset piece of weight loss, because we're intelligent. Women are smart. We're brilliant. We know what to do. We can follow a plan. But the problem that happens is we fall off because we start to get emotional. We stress eat. We can't, master our, we can't break our habits and create new ones. Like the mindset piece is everything. So I prayed for this, and then it came to me. It appeared in front of me. And a friend was doing a program called To Be Mindset, developed by a registered dietitian nutritionist who lost 100 pounds herself eating this way. And if I tell you, it is so basic and so easy that it's laughable. Like it's literally just guidelines on how to, what I call, style your plate. So she tells you, okay, in the morning, your plate should have half the plate should be carbs, fiber-filled carbs, half should be protein. At lunch, it should be this many vegetables versus this many carbs. And it's all suggested guidelines. So you are empowered to basically write the plan yourself, which I think is brilliant. And the other piece of it is the mindset piece. It's called To Be Mindset. So it creates this whole plan for you on how to tackle the emotional side of eating, why we stress eat, why we do all these things. And, the whole really gist of it is positive weight loss. And I never in my life, I get chills when I think about it, because to me, positive and weight loss, those things couldn't coexist. Yeah. So, Ilana Molstein, I've had her on my podcast multiple times. She is all about, just positive words, speaking to yourself lovingly, loving your body, but then actually taking it a step further and treating your body like you love it, right? Because it's one thing to say, I love my body, I'm fine the way I am, but then we're going and eating and going off the rails and drinking and not showing up to our workouts. And that's not real body love. So I started the program last May, and beyond the weight loss, because I've lost now almost 27 pounds, I've lost 6 inches off my waist. But I will tell you, the number one thing is the way that I feel. Like you said, I feel good. I've just changed as a person. I've completely transformed as a person. I've let go of habits that don't serve me. I've learned how to truly love myself. I've learned how to show up for myself and be intentional. And the most beautiful part of it is the program is through Beachbody. So I was able to get involved with it from a business standpoint and create an entire community, because I'm a community builder at the heart, right? That's what I do. I bring women together. So I partnered with my friend Andrea, who is in the business, and we said, well, I don't want to just be an affiliate for this company. I don't want to just tell people, here's a link, you can sign up, and then, I get a commission from it, because to me, that's not fulfilling. I wanted to create a whole community and world and movement around it. So we came together and launched Rebel Body Babes. So when women sign up for the program and they learn about the program through us, they're, brought into this group called Rebel Body Babes, where we then nurture all of the women who are on the nutrition plan. And I'm in there daily coaching them, supporting them. They message me. I do Facebook Lives. We have so many plans for this year to create cookbooks and recipes. And it's just become such a sisterhood. And we have over 800 women in there now. And I mean, the transformations that are happening are so much bigger than the body transformations and the physical transformations. It's people are getting their lives back. And I just discovered this whole new passion for health and wellness. And I spent 10 years on mindset, and I'm well, this is now my next chapter, is really incorporating the body as well, because one cannot function optimally without the other.
Oh,
you can't have
so
a healthy
true.
mind right? I mean, you can't have an unhealthy body that you're neglecting and have this healthy mind. It doesn't work that way. So finally mastering it in my own life has been beyond, powerful. And now being able to help other women do it too, and have women come to me and say, I was able to get off my blood pressure medication, or, I'm finally sleeping with my husband again, or I'm able to finally walk into a room and not want to shrivel up in a corner. It's so incredible. So it's been such a gift, and I just love it.
That's awesome, because I actually had a post yesterday on Instagram talking about this, because I know that life is in 4 parts, right? So it's mental, spiritual, financial, and physical. And somewhere in there, all of the relationships that you have with everyone trickle into all four of those parts, because if you are not together mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, your relationships are affected. And it doesn't matter what part it is. And if you have it all together and, you're writing books and you're successful and you're really styling your mind, as you say, and you're really fulfilling yourself. But if you're physically daunted by putting your feet on the ground, I know I suffer from chronic back pain, which, it really is debilitating sometimes, until I thought, what? Well, maybe if I lost 60 pounds, I wouldn't have such back issues, and so I've really tried to take hold of that, like you said, and it does something to you mentally when you start seeing your physical change, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But like you said, you have to have the mindset. And what better way to do that than to be in a group of like-minded women that are doing the same thing?
Yeah. And it was interesting. It's funny how things hit you, right? Like you could be doing something for 10 years and finally you're like, oh, wait a second. It hit me. I'm like, why am I not applying all of these incredible tools that I have for the mind? Why am I not applying that to weight loss and to health and to becoming, a healthy weight for my body, and to showing up for those workouts and pushing myself and learning how to challenge my body and accomplish these things? I never put two and two together. And the moment that I was able to take my skills as a master coach and bring that into the world of health and fitness, it's like the doors have just blown off my business. And it feels so good to be able to help people. My mission is to serve people and to help and inspire, and to do it in this way. I mean, you're literally saving people's lives when you help people on a weight loss journey. You literally are. I mean, I have women who in that group who are 300 pounds who are losing, 100 pounds and getting to a weight that they've never seen in their lives. Maybe they saw this weight in like junior high school, and to have them, literally add years to their life. Like, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
You're absolutely right. And I think I get more inspired when I do go to the live events, because there's something about being around women that are super excited and want to learn from you, and you learn from them. And, it's healing. Some people know my story that, this all started for me back in 2007 when I lost my son in a car accident. And I know, some moms just like, when I say that, they look at me like, oh my God, how is she standing here functioning? And it was because I reached out and started healing other moms that I kind of lost my own emotions, I guess, of, hey, it's all about me, and somebody, care about me because I'm hurting so bad. Let me try to help you. And the more you reach out and the more that you help someone else in whatever walk of life they're going to, or challenges that they're going through, you start healing yourself. So I can just imagine being in this group of rebel body babes that, if you're challenged with weight loss, to be in that group of women that are encouraging you and inspiring you, because let's just be honest, we don't always get that from our closest friends and family. So, to be in a group of like-minded women, no matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to heal yourself, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, you have to surround yourself with that same group of women in order to accomplish your goals. I'm a true believer in that, Cara. I really am.
Oh yeah. It is so, so true. And to your point about helping others, I think I fully believe that as well. I have a friend and a mentor, Noah Shaw, and he calls it selfless help. And I love that term, because we think of self-help as helping ourselves, but really helping ourselves is helping someone else.
I love that.
That's, right? Like, that's how I've just been able to get through my darkest times. When I launched the champagne diet, I was going through a traumatic breakup that was, the love of my life. I was with for 7 years, and I thought I was going to marry this person. And there was a lot of manipulation and emotional trauma that went on in that relationship. And I had to build myself up after that. And the way that I did it was through writing and through sharing with other women and learning how to really love myself again, really for the first time, and build my confidence. And doing that through the blog is what healed me and got me to the point of where I am now. And now that same exact thing is happening with weight loss, which has been the biggest problem in my whole life, the biggest hurdle that I've ever had. And coming through on the other side and helping someone else is just unreal. And, when you have people in a group like that, in an environment, and you lead by example, and then the next thing you know, you turn around and they're posting something on their Instagram page and inspiring someone else. And it's that ripple effect of, positivity and support. It's just such an incredible thing to witness.
You're absolutely right. Well, Cara, I'm telling you, it has been such a pleasure sharing this morning with you. You have inspired me already just to get up and, get moving and do like 1,000 things today that aren't even on my to-do list.
Thank you, Cherie. You're so sweet. It was so great talking to you too. I feel like I could talk to you for hours.
Oh, I know. Girl, we're hooking up when I come to New York. Okay. So that's it.
Yes, in the warm weather.
We are. We're going to have that glass of champagne and talk about how beautiful that glass is. That's for sure.
Yes.
So tell everyone where we can find you, and tell us how we can connect to Rebel Body Babes.
Yeah. So my podcast is called Style Your Mind, and it's everywhere podcasts are hosted. You can get it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, your podcast app. My website is thechampagnediet.com. And through there, you can access all my books and follow me on Instagram at The Champagne Diet. And then to get involved with my weight loss community, my positive weight loss community, just go to rebelbodybabes.com and all the information is there. You can even see my before and after pictures and learn more about some of the women in the group.
Oh, I'm fired up. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Cara. And guys, I just want to remind you to keep your encouragement tank full every day. Cara, you have just been just a light for us. I know you're inspiring women around the world to step into their power and fulfill their potential. There's no doubt. Thank you again. And I want to leave you guys with this. There's always someone around that can help you and support you. So make sure that when you are on Instagram, you're not just following someone just to look at maybe a pic that you've seen 1,000 times, but you're following someone that really inspires you. So you can follow Cara, like she said, on The Champagne Diet. You can join me on Instagram, Empowerment is Beauty. And we're just trying to inspire women to live their best life. And we want that for you. So until next week, keep your encouragement tank full, keep your faith in God, and step out of your comfort zone and try something that you've never tried before. I'll see you next week.